like at a certain point, if they're getting blown out or if they like, if there's something that's brought up that they don't like, then they'll just start fucking memeing on it. And if you try and, have an argument with someone who's just memeing, it's not a fucking conversation anymore. You just look like a fucking retard, right? Yeah. When you try to criticize someone who is conservative or like one of those like quote unquote centrists or like even someone who, like Cenk Uygur, who is like going through his like I'm about to leave the left arc type shit. Like
he's not going to actually pull that trigger though.
I know he's not going to pull that trigger, but like it's that same.
You know how like we literally
archetype.
Can just both say he's not going to pull that trigger. It's literally like we're just saying we can see the fucking actors doing their jobs.
And I'm tired. So I'm tired of it, man. And I moved to the DC area, right? I'm going to college for fucking political science. I obviously very much care about these things, and like I enjoyed political content, like I would say from the time I started streaming in the very end of 2019 until the very beginning of like 2023. But like since then, there has not been a single fucking point that I've enjoyed talking about politics. Like actually, there's nothing good. There's no real fucking conversation. I was saying earlier, it feels like I really like conspiracy theories, right? Not because I subscribe to any, but because they're kind of fun to figure out why people say, like, believe that this thing happened or didn't happen, and then see what actually happened, right? Like JFK assassination memes, right? There's a really good little series from his history professor on YouTube. Really in-depth, super fucking interesting, right? I'd love to have a debate about JFK. But
what would there be to debate about that though, right? Because
it would just be like a meme debate, like something that you set up before, like in advance.
But that still ends up being theater, right? There are legitimate JFK debates, by the way. Like you could go, do you think that it was wise for JFK to insist at defunding the three-letter agencies? You know what I mean? Like you could use that, and then you could actually even trail into the conspiracies with that. But like, you need to have something that has meat to it, man. And not a lot of shit has meat to it. Because I think we missed the topics thing for like current relevant political theater, right? Like here's a question. Do you condemn people who cheer on the murder of the Brian guy, the UHC dude?
Oh, the CEO.
Yeah, you condemn the people cheering it on.
I condemn the content creators. Like I understand where like the general sentiment comes from, right? But like people who are like
you would condemn, but like an average person you wouldn't.
I would say like, listen, this isn't like maybe you probably haven't thought about this. Like I would have a conversation about it with them, but like for someone who's like that like crazy fucking S-queer person who was like tweeting out the address of another fucking healthcare CEO, that person's a fucking disgusting degenerate fuck that deserves.
But that's a whole different thing though. You don't appreciate people doxing, so like there has to be.
Well, it wasn't just doxing; right? It was like. Like calling for someone to do more violence.
Creator and you doxed another healthcare CEO, you would think that's bad.
Well, yeah.
So what is it about content creators that are unique from individuals who are going to do this?
People who have the time to like sit down and talk about the news, especially if they're larger people, right? Like if it was like a small fucking like streamer about my size that was, I'd probably like, do you think that this would, that's a conversation that we can have. But if you're like a fucking journalist, if you have fucking like 100,000 plus subscribers on YouTube and you're like making some money off of that shit and you have time to sit down and learn a little bit about the fucking subject and you come out here and say, yeah, we should be killing more CEOs or like this was a good thing because it'll put the healthcare, market on notice that the people are coming for you. Like, those people deserve literally the worst possible things that I cannot say on Twitch. Like, it is absolutely fucking disgusting.
Why
to me.
Though? But what's so much different?
Because there's because like they have the ability,
right?
They're not. They don't care about like getting people the truth. They don't care like the. The same people that are doing the things that I fucking hate about the whole CEO story are the same ones that are pushing the anesthesiologist bullshit, right? And the anesthesiologist bullshit was good for the consumer. It was bad for the doctors. It wasn't bad for, it wasn't people's anesthetic was going to be turned off in the middle of their, surgery or anything like that. But because these fucking retards, they want to get money. Okay. They want money and they want more subscriber, and they can like tap into the fact that people are disgruntled with the healthcare industry to, put out their fucking bullshit.
Well, yeah, but so if you have a problem with people using the profit motive here, wouldn't finding people that you disagree with and condemning them, wouldn't that just be the same profit motive, but in the other lens of it? It's just that you agree with that one?
I'm sorry, can you repeat that?
Okay, so it seems like you're complaining about the profit motive, right? With these people who are big enough.
That's part of it. It's not just the profit motive. That's one of their desires. My problem is they have the ability and the supposed, self given, goal of informing the public and telling people what's real and what's the truth, right? But they don't do that, right?
So are you talking, so you're not even just talking all content creators. You're talking like Hassan type content creators, right? Who are political creators. So if there's like an apolitical creator, you wouldn't have the same issue, right?
Yeah, I'm talking about specifically, and maybe like I'm just not being super clear.
It's like, yo, base, I can't believe they're doing CSGO in real life.
Because XQC is a retard, and like I don't expect. And I don't think that
a lot of people are going to do what he does because he's rich as fuck. He seems to be pretty successful.
There's probably worse like outcomes from that than from like some random other fucking small person who does the same kind of content, right? But like again, it's about like what people present themselves as and what they say, right? And I'm tired of living in the fucking post-truth fucking world that we're in, where I can't have a fucking conversation. I don't know whether I can even talk to people who are in my same relative, Overton window about fucking literally anything, because they might be the kind of retard that thinks that going out and doming a fucking CEO is going to change literally fucking anything, right?
I mean... Well, so I think the comparative argument, and this is, so I'm doing this, I'm horrified by this, but my horror of the whole situation is the level of casualness that we are applying to violence as a society that I've seen as an uptick since the Trump shooting. I mean, really, if we're going to be looking back, it would be Gabby Giffords. You have people that are going to make this argument, but then I think one of the good...
I'm sorry, can you remind me who Gabby Giffords is?
Congresswoman, she got shot in like 2014.
I remember.
That's like the whole, that one. So Shinzo Abe, right? Got assassinated, and then the government actually did something, right? To kind of basically the reason the shooter went after Shinzo Abe was because Shinzo Abe's church, religion, whatever thing, basically pressured her into giving up like $700,000 or something like that, right? And so what ends up happening, Shinzo Abe dies. Shinzo Abe is assassinated. And then the government actually did something to go ahead and push this out. Because, this isn't like this is a multinational conspiracy thing. Because it was like that same South Korean religion that was, that would cause all those issues in South Korea in 2023 with their prime minister, right? So the thing is, unfortunately, there is actual evidence that, there could be some efficacy to this. And that is something people are going to point at, that if you are entirely dispossessed, what are your options? I think there's a much more interesting conversation in this from the lens of how do we repossess people who are so pushed away and
well, see, like that's like a huge thing that like if I don't even know what I could like once I get my degree in the next year and a half. Like I would love to find some either like group outside of the government or inside of the government that works on like building trust in the government, right? Because like that's like the biggest fucking thing, right? Like I was saying earlier, Like, there's so much plot armor for literally every single fucking Trump person, or, you know, anti-establishment shill in the entire world. But like the second the Democrats say something, even if it's factually correct, right?
Yep.
Even if it's literally what happened beat for beat with a timeline, with all the evidence in the entire fucking world, no one's going to trust it because it comes from a Democrat's mouth, right?
Well, yeah, but that's also the thing is on like the inverse. I think you know, one of the things I actually been liking about some of the critiques is that, you know, for whatever we want to say about Cenk, like Cenk's an idiot. I don't like Cenk that much, right? Um, whatever we're gonna say about Cenk, the idea that populism is winning, right? And it's just people being hyper reactionary to incumbent governments, right? In all over the world. If that is the fervor that we're in, is it not just, you know, yeah, the Republicans haven't been in power, you know, yeah, their people are always going to ride with them, but dude, I'm going to be honest with you. I was riding with Biden even beyond him, you know, going out. All right. I'm still riding with Biden. You know what I mean?
I am
don't give a
too.
shit. I like the guy. Okay. And like, you know, obviously you and I have our political massive differences, but regardless, this is this is what it is. It's like I think that at the end of the day, I think it is, you know, partly political polarization, but also just people being like, hey, there's something wrong, and you know, let's get
Yeah,
their
but
people
people
out. We're
don't.
doing
People
wrong.
aren't identifying the actual issues,
Yeah,
right?
they're just saying that it's the people in power. That's it.
Yeah,
Right.
and, like I started writing out because in the past year of like my college courses, I've had to write like 3 pages on populism, right?
Yeah.
And I wrote out.
You mean papers,
Ba-
not pages, because 3 pages on populism.
sorry, yeah, sorry, I meant to say
I
papers.
need to crank that out before yeah.
But the like I have almost like off the top of my head, I can write out what I've defined populism as
Okay, what
in.
is it? Real
So
quick.
this is what I just wrote down. All right.
Uh-huh.
Populism is a political label that describes a tension and antagonistic relationship between an us and them. Depending on the circumstances of the time and the place, the us and them can take different forms. For instance, in current day America, it's quote unquote the people versus quote the elites. Soviet Russia, it was the proletariat and the bourgeoisie. In Nazi Germany, it was the Volk and the Untermensch. And then I got sidetracked before finishing it. But essentially,
Yeah. No, I think
like,
it's a good definition. That's fine.
yeah, and
Yeah, it's weaponizing animus to go ahead
yeah,
and achieve a political goal.
and
That's
see,
what it is.
I when I write it out like that, it's just it makes me feel retarded for having been like big populist in the past. Because like when you write it out, it's just like, oh well, it's the us versus them. But it is probably the most accurate fucking description of.
Do you think we should ever go to war?
I think that there are just yeah, I'm probably more like hawkish than I used to be, but because of like the circumstances. I think that it always depends.
Yeah, I understand.
Well, not just October 7th. I'm talking about like the fact that Russia is like actively antagonistic to us like all the fucking time, and
Okay,
they're
but like
bragging about it, right?
it's
In
not like
China,
people are gonna die if we go to war.
yeah, but like that's not the worst like outcome. The worst outcome would be like not being like part of a free world and having more death and destruction happen as a result of being pacifists.
I have to work, and they keep electing, you know, dipshits that don't change anything.
Well, the fact that we don't, the reason that nothing changes is because everyone is so fucking divided that Congress can't get anything fucking passed. But if you look at what happened with Biden, he was actually able to get, you know, I know that we're doing like the hypothetical argument right here, but like if you look at what Biden was able to do, right, with a divided Congress, he got through the most like expansive fucking pieces of legislation in my fucking lifetime. I'm almost 30 fucking years old. He was able to get past like more major pieces of legislation than every other president of my lifetime combined, with the exception of maybe Bill Clinton. And I am going, you go ahead and say something now because I have to remove my cat from the room because he is just being annoying.
Guys, like and subscribe to Sondsol. I like having chats with him. Hi, I'm Rezzy. I hope you guys are having a good day. You know, I got done with my edits for the day early, so I figured I would give Sandy a call, check in what drama it was he wanted me to go ahead and let him know about, you know. So yeah, I hope you enjoy the content.
All right, we're back.